Jazzcast Pros.
This is your time to embrace healing, confidence, and transformation. If you have ever felt like something is holding you back, then this episode is for you. Welcome to Fearless Fridays with Maryann, the podcast where real talk meets real transformation. I am your host, Dr. Maryann Rivera Dannert, and with over 10 years as a life coach, author, speaker, and trainer, I will be guiding you on this journey of healing, growth, and empowerment. Many women carry emotional wounds that create self-doubt, people-pleasing, and the fear of stepping into your power keeps you stuck. It is time to break free and rewrite your story. We are going to be focusing on identifying the hidden wounds that keep you stuck, breaking down the barriers, because when we know what is keeping us stuck, we are able to take action. We are able to work on those things so we can create the change and start living the lives that we deserve and that we desire. Because before we heal, we must recognize what needs healing. There are some common emotional wounds that we are going to be talking about. So make sure that you have your journal with you so you can start taking some notes. And because you know that I am all about action, we are going to be doing some work as we are listening to this podcast. So the first wound is the wound of rejection, which is the fear of speaking up, and we are often seeking validation. The wound of abandonment. We struggle with self-worth, and we often fear being alone. And then there's the wound of betrayal. We have trust issues. We are resistant to vulnerability. And then there's the wound of shame. We are hiding our true selves because we fear being judged. So here's a quick exercise for you, and I hope that you're able to do it. Obviously, if you're driving, don't do this. Don't do part of it, but still do it, but come back if you're able to, so you can just focus a little bit more. Close your eyes. What's the story that you've been telling yourself about why you can't do something? Where did this belief come from? Here are some questions to really pinpoint your dominant wounds and to actually start taking some serious action into doing the work. What patterns keep showing up in my relationships? What patterns keep showing up in my relationships? We often find ourselves in relationships that when we take the time to reflect on them and to really think about them, there are some patterns to every single relationship that we find ourselves in. And the most obvious pattern is ourselves. Next question. What words or actions trigger an intense emotional reaction? Next, what fear stops me from moving forward? We often talk about things that we want to do differently, things that we're sick and tired of. For example, a failed relationship, not finding true love. But ask yourself, what fear is actually stopping you from moving forward? There is something within you, whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not. There is something that is keeping you comfortable and safe by going and getting yourself involved in the same relationships over and over again. But for things to change, something has to change. The next question for you to reflect on: what was I often criticized or neglected for as a child? And finally, when do I feel unworthy or not enough? I want you to spend some serious time reflecting on these questions, and I will make sure that we capture these questions in the show notes so you can go back to them and really do the work. If you're seeing a therapist, talk to your therapist about what comes up when you are answering these questions as you start to ponder on these questions. As we step into the next phase of this recording, I want to share with you the HEAL method, which is something that I have been working on. So I'm going to introduce you to the first half. So I want to share with you the HEAL method. and it's applying the first half of the healing model. So we're going to focus on the HEAL. So the H is for heal. Acknowledge the pain, but don't let it define you. And I think that is where we often get stuck in, that we let the things that have hurt us in the past, the decisions that we have made in the past, keep us stuck because we are allowing those things to define who we are. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are in control of rewriting your future. The E stands for elevate. Shift from victim to victor. Again, shift from having a victim mentality to being a victor. Challenge limiting beliefs. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I am learning and I am growing every day. Say these words with confidence, as if you are already there, as you have already achieved it. The A stands for awaken. Step into radical self-awareness. Journaling prompt that I want you to focus on. Who am I outside of my wounds? That is such a deep question. Who am I outside of my wounds? And the L stands for liberate. Let go of shame, guilt, and conditioning. Imagine yourself breaking free from chains and stepping into confidence. Journal about what feelings came up. What did you feel? What did your body do when you pictured yourself breaking free from the chains and stepping into confidence? Now we are going to be talking about activation and action steps because again, around here, we are doing the work. Bold and action-driven steps for you to challenge the fear. I want you to identify one limiting belief and replace it with a bold affirmation. Make sure that this affirmation, you write it as you have already achieved this thing. Don't just write the affirmation in your journal. Write it in your mirror, write it on a Post-it and stick it on your refrigerator door, stick it in your car, in your purse, whatever place you frequent, make sure that that affirmation is there and repeat it to yourself over and over again. And this is a tip that I have given before, but I will mention it again because it works and it makes a lot of sense. Set your alarms with this affirmation that you have boldly written, so you are constantly reminding yourself of it. Rewrite your story. I want you to write a letter to your younger self, forgiving the past and embracing the future. And I also want you to step into doing some mirror work. Stand in front of the mirror and say the words, I am fearless, I am whole, I am worthy. Again, as you step in front of the mirror and you look at yourself, repeat the words, I am fearless, I am whole, I am worthy. And please remember that healing isn't a one-time event, it's a journey. But today you have taken a massive, huge step forward, and I want you to keep coming back for more. And as we get ready to wrap up and close, I want you to make sure that you head over to the show notes, that you reflect and you write down those questions. And sis, you are not meant to live in the shadows of your past. You are meant to shine, to thrive, and be free. Today you have taken action. Today you have the tools to move forward. I want you to head over again to the show notes and download the free self-reflection worksheet. And I want you to DM me or send me an email with your biggest breakthrough from today's episode. And don't forget to share with a friend or two that may need this message. Next week's episode, we are going to be diving into igniting your inner fire, how to reclaim your passion, your purpose, and your power. You don't want to miss it. So make sure that you subscribe so you get alerts and you keep coming back for more. Until next time, Stay fearless, stay fabulous, and remember that you are a priority and you matter.